the Philippines is the longest outpost, military outpost and defense outpost of the United States in the Asia Pacific region. That's precisely because our history with the United States, you can trace it back during the colonization time. We were a colony of the United States for the longest time. And I think we just got our independence. They give us, not, it's really crazy because I don't even really recognize that as independence, because even until this very day, I feel that my country is still a semi-colony of the United States, but we got it around July of 1946. The last April military air exercises between these two countries has it deployed a huge number of soldiers from both sides, but more numbers on the side of the Americans. And also the critical point is during the time the Americans deployed in the Philippines the mid-range missile launcher, which is until now it's in the Philippines in the northern part. So that's this kind of military activities and also joint patrols in the South China Sea, which is disputed between China and the Philippines and other claimant states, is getting intensified. And the agreement that makes it possible is what you call the Visiting Forces Agreement. The other one, which is very contentious at this time, and this makes actually China anxious, and even in a way Russia to a greater extent, because of the mid-range deployment, a missile launcher that was deployed in the Philippines and it's still there. If you really look at my country at the moment, you can see that in many ways it's being militarized by the United States. And the question is why it is doing it. And it's really something that Filipinos gets anxious about, because if you can see, I mean, there is really like a geopolitical rivalry between the United States and China. And it seems like we Filipinos, or the Philippines, is becoming like the proxy or the pawn of the United States against China in this sense. And you can see it because of the increasing militarization of the country by the United States. There's so many agreements that is now all about defense and military, and that is now being pushed through by the United States. And of course, the Philippine government under President Marcos Jr. is very much willing. They just signed, they just agree with everything. And another even agreement that has something to do with military and defense is what you call RAA, which is the reciprocal. We call it the reciprocal access agreement between Japan and Japan and the Philippines. But if you really look at it, it's actually orchestrated by the United States. So if this agreement is already approved and signed, no? So if you really look at it, there's such a thing as trilateral relationship between Japan, the Philippines, and the United States. And these are all military, and these are all defense agreements. So that is the picture of the Philippines at the moment. And this is not good the way I see it, precisely because the Asia-Pacific region, the Indo-Pacific region, and even the ASEAN region is now facing a lot of tension, geopolitically speaking, because of the external interference of the United States in the region. And all of this is, all about military and defense. So the Philippines is in the middle. I think the Philippines is now like the battleground of all of this geopolitical tension in Southeast Asia, and that is actually between China and the United States. So that's the picture that I can tell you about my country's situation, geopolitically speaking, because my country is very, very strategic in the Asia Pacific region when you talk about military and defense. It's actually part of what you call the first island chain.